Nate Diaz has teased the jump over to WWE. He posted a picture of him with Triple H, and he wrote, "We'll see what's about to happen next." But there's more.
Of course.
But we have more.
The Rizin president is saying that he's trying to put together Nate Diaz versus Floyd Mayweather.
Yep.
Or at least he wants to put it together. It doesn't say he's trying to. It just says he wants to.
Well, I can tell you right now that Scott Coker is in Hawaii with Saki Gabara as we speak, and they are talking about the Bellator New Year's show. Bellator Rizin combining maybe a show to do a year-end huge show at the Saitama Arena in Tokyo, man. Huge show. So that will be, apparently it sounds like there'll be some of, whether it's the Bellator champions going over there and fighting in the Rizin ring and representing Bellator in Japan. A lot of them like to do it. A lot of them, it's a dream for a lot of these fighters to fight in Japan. People have not, if you have not experienced as a fighter fighting in Japan, fuck, it's insane. It's crazy. There's so many things. So many things I could say about it. I've fought there 3 times. There's so many things I can say about it. It's fantastic.
It's an atmosphere that is unique in the fight world because it is not what you get as far as the electricity of an Irish crowd or an American crowd or any of those other crowds that are out there that are, real boisterous and everything. But there's a respect factor of what you're doing from all the fans. They respect you as a fighter going in there, and whatever you're going to do, they don't care if it's a ground attack, they don't care if it's a stand-up attack, they just care that you fight. That's what they care about. And when you do, and you're doing something that they can see that's good, the volume there, and the whole arena goes in, and then it goes down to nothing, and it's amazing. It's something you can't get anywhere else, and for any fighter, fighting in Japan is cool. And so that fight, I could see it. I could see it happening. Here's my one thing that I don't see. How does the guy in Nate Diaz, the guy that you can look and say, as real as it gets, right? Because that was the old UFC slogan, as real as it gets. And so Nate Diaz is a guy, he's as real as it gets. How could he be going over the WWE?
John, you don't know how he's going over at WWE.
There it is. I got it. Dude, did you see that?
Dave,
I just took and just pulled it right in.
Turn your camera on, dude. We got to see the emotion on your face as you try to dig yourself out of this one.
John, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Dave.
So we have it. It's all made up, John. The whole story is here and it's ready. It's built, right?
It's all made up. Did you just hear yourself?
No, it's real life.
It's all made up.
Nate has his last fight, right?
Yeah.
DC says some stuff about Nate getting smashed by Hamzat. He's lucky Hamzat fell out. Nate calls him a fat effer, right? DC goes to WWE and referees a match. Nate goes to WWE and hangs out with
Boy, and
Triple
he
H.
looked good doing that, didn't he?
We have the WrestleMania main event for Hollywood next year. DC's not from San Jose, but he's based in San Jose. Nate Diaz from Stockton. WrestleMania's in Hollywood. We have the main event for WrestleMania next year. Stockton versus AKA.
Oh, jeez.
Stockton versus Gilroy.
Oh, man.
I love it.
Jeez.
It's a fight of the century, man.
Fight of the century right there. Nate Diaz against the Foot Locker manager.
Exactly.
That's fucked up. Big John throwing some shade towards my boy, DC.
Oh, come on. I love it. Come on. When you see DC in that black and white and he's coming out, I go, someone said right, they go, he looks like a Foot Locker manager. I go, oh my God, he does.
Jeez.
That's
big
great.
ass smile.
You know what? I want to say this, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. DC, I love the fact that you were able to do something. I know that was like a dream of his. Sure. He loves that stuff. That. And so he's so into it. And the fact that he could be part of that, that's one of those moments in time, priceless.
Yeah.
It's priceless. And congratulations to you for being able to be part of it.
His kids got to see him do it, man. His family got to see him do it. Like, can you imagine your kids? I don't even know if his kids are into the pro wrestling stuff. I'm sure they are because his dad's a nerd.
Oh, God, because of him.
But, like, just see your dad walk out, be part of that. That's fucking fantastic. That's something that they'll never forget. Never forget.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So that's awesome. I think that's amazing. And
it was.
But I really believe that this fight right here on the Rizin. I think
you hold on. You have to admit, I did suck Dave in with that whole.
But
thing
you also
about
have to admit you underestimated the caliber of WrestleMania's potential main event next
what are you
next
talking
year.
about?
How can you not do DC versus Nate Diaz for the BMF title in WWE?
The BMF title. This guy. You see,
we got to come up with a different BMF. It's got to be something with the W something in there's got to change.
The biggest MFer, right?
The biggest.
They got to get high before the fight, and then they got to wrestle high so that they come out. Whoever wins is the biggest.
Oh my
That's
god!
not a word, but it sounds cool.
This guy,
Most big.
Dave's face lights up every time WWE gets brought up on this show. It's like ding, ding. That's why I said turn your camera on. It's almost like the lights come on. Look at how lit up his face is right now.
There's a reason these guys have millions of followers on Instagram, because they are both prepared to get involved with the WWE.
No, it's because they're both fucking great fighters. That's why. All right, let's get back to the real fight. The Rizin interested in making the Diaz and the Floyd. I think they end up making that fight. I think because Coker's had a connection with Diaz for years now, him and his brother both. I think that while they were working this whole deal out with Bellator and with Rizin, for the New Year's show, I think that the connection with Diaz was kind of made probably the bridge was broken maybe by Scott Coker to help get them connected to do this on the New Year's Eve show.
And you have to figure that right now Nate is still in that 90-day period where he can only negotiate with the UFC as far as a new contract. But since he is it over? Yes, absolutely. No, it's not over yet. It might be by the time that fight would take place on New Year's Eve. But being that it's boxing, he can negotiate.
Interesting.
Free agent, he can negotiate a boxing.
Wow. I didn't even think about that. I would have thought that it would have been up because he was fully released from his contract after he fought his last fight. But they have 90-day matching rights normally.
That's right.
Interesting.
So right now he's got, but in boxing, he can go to boxing and do anything.
Him and Floyd, I really believe, would sell a shit ton of pay-per-views. I'm thinking 3.5 million.
I'll tell you what, I don't know what it would do in Japan. Okay. But here, I think you would sell, you would get people's interest because if there's the one thing about Floyd is who he is. And I don't think Nate's going to outbox Floyd, but Nate's length. Nate has definitely been in the ring with guys of Floyd's caliber. Okay, every day that he went and sparred with Andre Ward, trust me, that was the day that he was sparring one of the best in the world. And the fact, dude, size difference?
Yeah, way different.
You can take a look at this picture. That is not the way they would stand next to each other.
That's an old picture too. That's after the McGregor fight. That's an old picture.
Oh, is it? Okay.
That's after the McGregor fight.
And I'm telling you, that is not the size difference of Floyd and Nate. It is much greater than what you're seeing right there. And the lengthwise, he would cause some problems as far as Nate would be able. Floyd would be able to get himself in and out, but it would be an interesting contest. I'd watch.
For sure, I'd watch.
Oh yeah,
for sure. I think they'd put it on pay-per-view. Maybe have it like in the middle of the day on a Saturday or whatever. I don't think you could run it at the midnight show like they would normally want to try to run it. That would put it at 4 or 5 in the morning. They would lose so much money if they did it that way. But then again, we've seen Japan. They've blown money for no fucking reason on fights that made no sense.
There you go.
And as long as their crowd's happy, that's all they give a shit about. So who knows? But I'm interested. It does interest me. I'll be honest. Go to mybookie.ag. Use that promo code Wayne and they'll give you additional spending cash with your first initial deposit.